So the cylinder is in already. Just installed the cylinder onto the chamber. I'm going to now close up the chamber. Time to let it acclimate. I will put the hose on. Clamp down the cylinder. Make sure all clamps are closed. Come over to here. In the mornings, I will pull this up. Go into new database. Click on a new database. I've just opened a database. It'll bring us into the test records. Now I will start my morning by going into my operator. Select my template for a high calibrated cylinder. That's the only cylinder that we have loaded in. Then I will load my template up. For what I'm going to be choosing today, I'm going to be working on Cascades, which is right behind you. So I will look at these cylinders and find out which ones I'm going to be doing. It's a 9809-2. So I will come back over here and I will go for 8,000 or 9,000 and 10,000 is what I'm going to calibrate in between today. Then I will load my template. My template is now loaded. Everything's now done. I will then start my testing. I will come over to here, burp my air. It's through. That is. Run that one out. Close. Now, just what I did is I burped it a little too fast, so I'll just drop this down. I'm gonna wait till this water comes out of here. That covers the chamber side to make sure there's no air bubbles in that as well. I'm gonna come back over. Bring this back up out of the water. Because I don't remember. Okay. What I did there was just to make sure that there's no water in the bottom of the cylinder, so that way there's no air bubbles on the underside that will mess up the test. So I'll just install my chamber cover. Everything will raise, drop back up. Now I'll burp this again. Now I'll drop it down until it's only touching the top quarter inch of the jar. Then I will run it up to 9,000, or I'll do 99 or 9,500. And all I'm doing here is just stretching the cylinder in the mornings. Just double checking everything's together, burping the cylinder, making sure all the air's out of the cylinder, and just stretching it so that way it gets warmed up.
So what do you bring it to?
I'm going to bring it up to in between 9,000 and 10,000 just to stretch the cylinder. I'm going to be hitting those 2 points today. So what I'm going to do is I'm bringing it up there so that way I can stretch out the walls of the cylinder to warm it up so that way it's ready for calibration. Over here to make sure there's no leakage coming out of any of these or around the cylinder or any major water sprays, making sure that everything's still staying correct. I'm seeing an accurate rise in our numbers, no high jumps, no low jumps, no droppings. I'll make sure that I hold the pressure at 9,500 in between 9,000 and 10,000, that it doesn't raise, to make sure there's no leaks inside the cylinder or in the hookup points of the cylinder, as well as any drops for negative pressure. So now it's held at 10,000. What I'm watching for right now at this time is any rises or lowers in the scale, to make sure that there's no dropping of pressure, raising of pressure. Make sure it stays at the same, and just letting the cylinder stretch out as well during this time. I do have my door closed. Air is off, no running. And everything else is off and staged. I will just let it sit, and then I will drop the pressure. So now I have my water running. I burped all the air. I stretched the cylinder. I'm now going to shut off all water flow. Keep that one on, that's inside the cylinder. Let it zero out to make sure that there's zero pressure inside the cylinder. It did stick a little bit. It was staying at about 25 psi. We are back at true zero. We'll let it drop. Make sure that there is nothing going in and out right now. Start the timer, 10 seconds. Started at 11. Okay, it has been more than 10 seconds from the 0 point, so I'm going to now tear the scale back to 0, drop it again, close this valve, let it sit, make sure this is tight. Everything's off. I'm already starting my time for 10 seconds. Okay, it has been 15 seconds. It's still sitting at 0. There's no markers of it dropping or raising. I will then turn on my water to pump. It'll drop up, or it'll raise up to about 1.0 to 1.2. Let it fluctuate for a second. Still moving. Okay, we have a hold, so we're going to start at 3. Okay, it's been 10 seconds. Now I'm going to start my water. Start doing my test. Now our point to hit today for 9,000 is going to be 157.7. Or 157.5, excuse me. That is the projected area to hit. Our deviation, our capable deviation from 9,000 is 155.93 to 159.08.
So that fan just turned on. Is that we're having an issue with that?
Nope, it just, I thought I had it shut off. It was actually not all the way off.
The HVAC ventilation. I know he talked about getting some plexiglass around that. And
Yes,
that might be
yes.
something we need to do.
Yes. Our back shop guys do have some extra, but they are waiting until they're done with it to see what we have left, and then I'll
Okay.
be making one piece. The water that is running is not coming out of the chamber, that is coming from the sink next door. So that is not anything coming out of the chamber or the hydro press.
You taking what here?
Say that again.
What are you taking this pressure to?
9,000.
9,000. Okay.
So we are a little bit on the low side. Let it settle for a second.
You just tapped it to make sure that gauge was moving correctly. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Everything is correct. We're gonna let it sit for 30 seconds. Okay, just reset, went up to 2.
What'd you say?
It just reset. I had to reset my time because it went up to 158.2.
Okay.
So I started back at 10 now.
Okay.
Okay, we have hit our 30-second marker. It is within the actual deviated allowed. So now I'm going to drop pressure, turn the water off, drop pressure out. And like I said, the allowed deviation time for that was 9,000 was 57.5. We hit 158.2. Our allotted deviation or our acceptable expansion in between was 155.93 or 159.8. So now at this point, I have my water off. I have this valve opened, and now we're gonna sit and wait for it to drop to 0. Right now, where we are at 2.0, it takes approximately 20 to 25 minutes for it to drop. We're already down to 1.9. Just saying, we will be here for a while.
Mm-hmm. I know. Probably could pause it. What are you doing now, Kobe?
Getting set up to do testing on the cylinders.
And we're waiting for the scale to reach what?
0.0.
And right now we're at 1.7. So there's no pressure on it?
Nope, no, I'm sorry. I did a whisper test prior. Checked to make sure the valve was in working order. Everything was correct. It is out of pressure as well as inside. We did spritz some compressed air into it to make sure that it did let air out. We put approximately 500 psi in this, so that way we know if it is coming out.
Okay. That's important. Can't imagine that valve going into your head would feel very good at all.
All I'm doing right now is just pulling the valve out to essentially ready up the cylinder for when that stuff is done. So that way I'm not sitting here. I have other things here that I'm able to do. I'll inspect the threads, make sure on the valve threads that they are not roughed up, that there's no dings, dents, or anything that would cause anything to happen to the cylinder when I went to install the valve head back into the cylinder. Then from there, I will set it up here. I will grab my marker. I will then tally it one. And I will tally this one as well. Just to make sure that no valve heads get mixed up or mixed in. From there, I've done a visual inspection on the cylinder on the sidewalls as well as the bottom. I've had help to lift it, to set it on its side. Check out the bottom side for any dings and or dents, as well as I will check in well before it goes to hydro. We'll go to my inspection light. Inspect for any damages, rust, pitting inside the cylinder walls as well as in the bottom cylinder. Now I will grab my inspection mirror. All I'm doing here is making sure that the bottom side of the threads and the threads are not cracked or have any dimpling issues, as well as corrosion, rust, pitting on the inside of the cylinder, any cracks around the threads as well. Just kind of wanting to hit my points. From that point, I will go move up the threads. Let me go ahead and grab a thread cleaner. Since it is a steel, I am going to take a wire brush to it, to the inside of the threads, just to clean up the Teflon that are on the threads, and any other sorts of things, or debris. Anything like that, just kind of pick it off. Now that I am done with that, I'm going to go over here and just check on it. It's still holding at 1.7. I'm going to make sure that this guy's opened up all the way. Now I'll go back and do a visual inspection on threads. Okay. Now I'll go through, like I did before prior, when I was rolling this over. I checked for any dings, dents, or dimples. There were a few. right here on the exterior. It's over the painted surface. It is original painted surface. I will also be double checking anything with the stampings on the side of the cylinder to make sure that there are no, or that there is original paint there, and or anything damaged on the stamps that I cannot read, to make it not legible to a person. Everything does check out there. And then on over here, I will go to my ISO 9809-2. Come over to my ISO book. Or if it were a special permit number, DOT number, I would do the same thing with my exemption book and then go into CGA pamphlet. Obviously, we're going to make sure up on our end that our expiration date obviously has been correct. We're going to make sure that we do have the specifications to be able to do that cylinder. I did check that this morning. We do have ISO 9801 or 98-1 and ISO 9809-2, which is the one that we need, which is correct. So now that we know that we have our RIN number, our bases, everything's correct, we are going to check over everything, make sure that there isn't anything that needed to be done. If I needed a refresher on this, I don't. I actually looked through it last week, and I remember quite a bit of stuff from it. There was nothing that's hugely noted, anything like that. It is still fresh in my memory, and I don't have anything that I need to look through right now. If I did it, we'll say 2 months ago was the last time I went through it. That's when I will be going back through the ISO book. So right now it is dropping and fluctuating between 2.0 down to 1.7. At one point it did hit 1.6. It has dropped down back or rose back up to 2.0. Our reasons for today that we are seeing that could be a chance in this point is our humidity today, as well as storms, wind, and everything. We try to take in everything out of the equation, but although it's not all controllable.
High humidity today. Still fluctuating a little bit. It dropped down to 0, right?
Yes. There it goes.
You're right. You breathe on it wrong, and it.
Now,
How long do we want it to be at 0?
it's supposed to be there for 30 seconds, but if it's been fluctuating, it's been going up and down on 1. I should just move between those points. Been more over a minute. From 6. and 30 seconds. It's kind of just dropping between that point,
Mm-hmm.
and it raises back up when I talk.
I see that.
I need to quit breathing.
No, we can't do that for very long. Maybe 30 seconds. About 15 seconds.
Just keeps on dropping between that 0.0 and 0.1.
Mm-hmm.
If it does fluctuate like that, anything over really a minute that is sitting there holding between two numbers, it's kind of like you just take the number of it. Hami, what would you say on this one? I would say that this is good to go because it is holding between that point. It did hold for just over 30 seconds, but then it bumped back up. I'm going to call it a 0. So that way we know if that is the case, what is going on with it. From here on, I will go through, hit my 9,000s again. Make sure that this is all correct. This is off. I'll go through it and hit my 10,000 point. Turn my water on. Technically, we are now certified at 9,000. Everything is good. I am gonna, just to be safe now, I'm gonna drop pressure on this. Just to make sure that we do have still good water coming out. We're still at that quarter. I've now hit my point. I'm gonna fill my water again. Make sure it's still there. It's holding. Now I will turn on my water after I've tiered it. So now it's reading 0.0 and it's reading 0 on the scale or on the gauge. I now tapped it. It's still 0, hasn't moved. It's holding 0. It's now held 0 for 10 seconds now. Now I will turn on my water. And now we're going to be running it up to the 10,000 point. Our 10,000 point that we're supposed to hit is 175.5. That is our expansion that it's going to hit at. The allotted range, the acceptable expansion deviation for that is 173.75 and 177.76 or 0.26. Okay. So we're at 10,000. Right now we're at 176.9, which is where we're well within our acceptable deviation. Our acceptable deviation, again, I will say, is 173.75. Our number to hit for expansion is 177 or 175.5, and our high end is 177.26. We are holding in between 176.9 and 177 on the dot. Now I just moved, so I will restart my hold time at 5. We have now reached our 30. Oh, it just dropped. Oh, nope, it dropped back down. So we'll restart our time for 12. Now it just jumped again to 177.1. So we'll restart our time at 1. Okay, we have reached our time of 30 seconds. So now that is done and everything's correct, 177.1. Release our pressure out. Shut off my water. And this goes all the way up. And we will let it drop. Right now we are sitting at approximately 3.0, 2.9, 3.0, fluctuating between that point. And the time on that is 10:25, 10:26.
How long you want to keep it at?
That's really up to you. It's showing that it's dropping.
Is it supposed to be?
Yes, that is correct. It's supposed to drop down to point or 0.0 is what we have to drop back down. Okay, we are starting our time at 1 on the clock. And we're going to do that for 30 seconds. And we have hit our 30 seconds and it's still holding 0. From this point, I'll make sure everything's blood off. Still, that's open. I'm gonna pull my routers off. Release. New seal's a little sticky.
Pulled up on this side. That's why it's kind of pulled up.
What's up?
It's pulled up on that
Oh,
side.
yeah. I put a new seal on it,
Okay.
and it's just a little sticky right now. So now at this point, I will take it. You don't have to do it. It's not gonna be right.
Okay.
At this point, I'll take the cylinder, drop it down, let it dry off. I'll rinse it, and then what I'll do from there is I obviously I'm not doing any small cylinders today, so I won't have to worry about refilling the cylinder, the chamber, or anything like that. I'm doing cascades. Okay, here, I'll go into a new test. Put in my operator's ID, which is me, Kobe. Oh shoot. I don't know what happened there.
You're in
I'm
caps
on
lock.
caps locked, yeah. Then I'll go down to the cylinder owner. It is Haywarden, Iowa Fire Department. Oh, I have 2 W's in there. The serial number of the cylinder, which is right down here, right by your Faber. It is 18/3386/001. Three three 86 slash 001. Manufacturer's ID. It is Faber, is the maker of this cylinder. Now I will go down to my manufacturing date of which it was manufactured, which is in 2018, in the 5th month of 2018. The gas service is a dry air service, breathable. Visual inspection. Upon visual inspection earlier in the video that we had looked at, everything was good to go. No cracks in the cylinder threads, no cracks on the bottom side of the cylinder threads, no cracks throughout the cylinder, no foreign debris in the cylinder, as well as everything was cleared for foreign debris, rust, corrosions, and or pits or any other parts. The physical size and specification is, the physical size, I'm sorry. We'll measure it. Make sure it's in inches from our point, which is here. To our point is 9 by 52. Specification and service, you'll go down, you'll put in your ISO 9809-2. Now we will go over. It'll bring us over to our minimum test pressure, which in that case we'll run over to here to our conversion table. And our conversion table, 2 psi. So we have from and 2 psi on our conversion table here. And to find our bar, we have to take our bar, which is right over here, and it is, where is it? Am I looking on the wrong side? ISO 9899. Running a blinker right now. Bar. Oh, right here. pH 621 bar. So now what we'll take is that 621 and we'll multiply it by 14.503 to equal out our PSI of which we'll test. I'll go onto my calculator app, calculate 621 times 14.503, and that will equal out to 9,663. At that point, our minimum test pressure is 9,007. So 9,000 psi, 7. Our minimum hold time for these. Why did that come up? We're gonna go back to that. Oh, sorry, I didn't save my results. String function maps. Unhandle, you can click continue. So we'll go back over to here. Our minimum hold time is 30 seconds. Was that 30? We do not have a PE limit, which is actually the PE limit for anything on that is 10%. So 10. Oh shoot, I forgot. I did that wrong. There's not an RE limit. We do not do RE or plus stamping, Vinny star stamping. Our actual pressure that we hit is this is where we're going to start our testing. So at this point, I'm going to take my cylinder, turn it up with water. At this point, I would have the dryer and blower going above you, but it's super loud in here with that running on the camera. So we will wait till the very end to turn that on.
Okay.
Okay, that cylinder is full. I always knock it a few times just in case there's an air bubble trapped somewhere. And I'll flood it back out a little bit. Now that the cylinder is full of water, we have our adapters that we have. So we have to get the correct adapter that fits the size Just never hurts to double check them before you put your tape on. So then I'll run over, we'll grab our thread tape to thread the cylinder, thread into the cylinder. Make sure that that's on correctly installed the correct way. Now we'll screw the cylinder on, or we'll screw the adapter into the cylinder. Okay. Now it is securely on the cylinder. I will then release the pressure in the cylinder. Pop the cylinder out of the vise. Just as a precautionary, what I usually do is I'll wet down the side of the cylinder just to look for anything that might be coming off. Just look for any deep scratches as well. Anything that might be wrong with the cylinder that I might have missed during the visual inspection again, with the visual inspection being very thorough. Now I bring the cylinder chamber cap over. Okay, now we'll just pop it up just to make sure it's securely in there. So now at this point, I'm just looking for anything that might be wrong on the side of the cylinder, any dents again, just double checking, making sure that there's no big dings, digs, areas to look at, areas of issue, as well as I'll be checking the bottom. Everything looks good on the bottom side, no areas of issue. We will then bring it over to our chamber. make sure that all my chamber clamps have snapped. Let that acclimate. So our test pressure that we will be reaching today is 9,007 is our minimum test pressure of this cylinder, of the Cascade that we will be testing.
9,007.
9,007, yes.
Okay.
Just want to let everything equal out for a second. Turn on my water. Shoot, I forgot. Never mind. Hook up. Make sure that it's not going to come off. There it goes. Now, we're just going to make sure that everything else is correctly bumped. All I'm doing now is just dropping the pressure inside the beaker for my pressure reader, because it is a Cascade, just to maximize where we're going to be sitting at. So I'll try to get it as close as I can to the very bottom. Now, what I'm going to do is all I'm doing now is just going to be burping the system. So I'm just going to run it up. It's about 1,000 psi, 500,000. All I'm doing now is just trying to make sure that there's air that's out of the cylinder. Actually, I'm going to kill this test before I go doing that any further. I'm going to disconnect it again. The way that I was raising, I noticed that there might be an air bubble on the bottom of the side I thought I got, but I must not have gotten it all. So I'm going to raise the cylinder back up. Just to be safe before I start testing. It's clear. I just did that just to make sure that there was no air bubbles on that bottom side of that cylinder in that cavity. Now we're dropping the cylinder back down, putting everything back together, clamping everything down, and just going back to everything. Drop it back up, open, open this as well. Close this side off. Now I'll let everything acclimate and just bump it up. I just bumped it up to about 550 psi, just to let it burp out, let it sit for a second. During that time, you can check for any leaks that were going on inside the cylinder. It's kind of bumping around right now, so we're just going to drop the pressure. Let that equalize. Drop it again. It's still not equalizing quite yet. Bump, bump. I'm going to hold my time for 10 seconds on that, just to make sure that it doesn't drop again. Okay, I'll restart my time at 1. I'll do it again on 0. Shut this all the way. Nope, we didn't shut it all the way. Restart our time. Right now it's bumping up and down. So, I have 2 things. I'm going to restart it back at 0. Okay, we're going to start testing. So we went to 9100. Now we're going to sit here and hold that time. The permanent expansion as of right now is 285.1. We're going to hold that. Okay, it just raised. So we're gonna restart that timer at 10. Okay, hit it. Oh, it just went back up. So we'll restart our time. 4. Okay, we have reached our 30 seconds. So it is 180 or 285.3. So our actual test pressure was 9,100. Oh yeah, I know. Total expansion on the cylinder was 285.3. We'll come back over here, drop it down. Hold that time for 30 seconds. Okay. 5.2 is our time for permanent expansion. Passed. Percent expansion was 1.8. Now, there was a few little scratches, dings, and dents that I didn't notice. Nothing that was alarming. I'm just going to note them in my notes. That this was a retest. Scratches. Exterior. Oh. And it is passed and good, and onto the next. And that is how you do a cylinder.